Boom, and we're live. Or actually, we've been live, but now you get to see me. Hey, Jay Stoner, how you doing? Welcome, March 4th already. March already. We're looking at spring here coming up pretty soon, and yeah, the year's going by. It's already March. Don't want to think about that. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on? What's going on out there in the YouTube world? We might lose. Actually, the show could shut off at any time because, hey, Chris Chavez, it's kind of storming here, and we usually don't get a lot of thunder and lightning. Get a lot of rain, but not a lot of thunder and lightning, and we're getting a little bit of that right now. So we've known to lose power here because we've got a lot of trees and wind and that kind of stuff messes with power. So if it goes out, that's probably the reason. So what's going on this evening, ladies and gentlemen? You got any questions? I don't have any content. I can't find anybody. I can't make any sales. I can't have anybody come up. No one wants to come up. I don't know what's going on. I got to figure this stuff out. I got to figure out what's going on here in this new business environment. Let me drop the link, I guess. And let's see what's going on. What's new out there? How are you guys doing? It's cold here. Real cold on the North Coast. Kind of rainy, get a little hail. I guess last week we had snow. I think I talked about that. Now it's just cold. It's cold and my heater is on. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, there we go. I got Jose. I got a world traveler down there. I wonder what Jose Sanders, famous Jose Sanders. I guess I don't got nothing else for you. What, Jose? Are you ready to come up here? No porn bombing. I don't think you're a porn bomber.
Well, I don't do anything inappropriate. I don't do that.
Well, when you were showering, I think that's where you were.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, Jose? What's up?
I've been doing all right. I'm with some great people.
Yeah.
I'm with great people, and they're trying to help me prosper in life. I'm actually. I don't know. I'm in
California.
Yeah, California. That's a good friend of mine. You want to say hi?
Oh, I just said hi. Hello, Green Bicycles.
Hello, Tasha. So what's going on? So you're in Florida?
She's a great person. Don't worry, in Ocala, I guess. Yeah.
Okay,
she said if I can get a AC engine, she can attach to my bike, and that'll be a great thing for Uber Eats. And
is it a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler? Is it a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler?
It's a bicycle.
I'm seen one.
So that means it's got two, not a tricycle.
Yes, two. No.
If you were in California, I had a tricycle I could have given you, and you could have put a motor on that, and boy, you could have got some. It has a big basket on the back.
Yeah.
We're looking to do something similar. We have two bicycles for him.
Mr. Green Bicycle, can you ship it to him from California?
I set a goal for him. We got him two bicycles. One tonight. We only wanted one. I was going to put an engine on it, two racks, run through it, do the bearings, and then maybe build them a trailer if there's enough left over, with like a little camper trailer.
I got a question for you. Why? I guess you can buy like a electric hub wheel, right? Like for the front or the back.
Yeah, so that way you don't have to plug in on the side of a Walmart. You can just put gas and oil in it and just go.
Okay, so you're looking for a two-stroke?
They're way cheaper. Yeah, it's like $140 for the kit.
Where do you get those at?
It's just off Amazon. They're so much cheaper. Like on my bike, I want to do electric, like a mid drive, and it's gonna be like $1,200 for like 140. We get his bike done, and he can go deliver and make his money and start living his life again.
Well, good. That's a good. He's got a plan. I like it.
Right, but
An
he has a vicious troll infestation.
A what?
He's got a vicious troll infestation.
A what? I'm
Persistent,
sorry.
perpetual vicious. A troll infestation.
Oh, a troll. Okay. Yes, I know. I know about those.
Oh, she was saying that I have a vicious troll infestation.
I
How
just
did,
wanted
you know how I got? You know how I got rid of mine?
Blocking them?
I've blocked anybody.
know.
Yeah,
I've
I'm
never
actually
blocked
starting to
anybody in my
block it.
life.
I've actually started to block the 33rd because I'm starting to realize they're no good. They're no good.
Okay.
Even
Well,
the Boit. The Boit is no good.
okay, one thing I don't like doing though is I don't do any of that stuff here.
I
just
understand
don't,
that.
because it draws in. It's not good. It's just
I
it's not
understand
good.
that. And
But
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry that they convinced you that I was a troll, but I'm not.
no one's
I'm
convinced
not.
me of anything.
Morning, noon, and night.
I kind of I make up my own
The next
details.
2
I
minutes,
don't think you're a troll. I think you're an interesting cat who does things that I would never do, and you're kind of brave. You're brave in a weird way. I think I've said this before. Yeah, you're doing something that's very tough. You're living on the road and you're working and making money. That's good stuff. And I'm glad to see you're going to make a bicycle that has a motor on it. I like bicycles.
If you're willing to,
Hey, Jose, I'm getting a lot of robot stuff. Would you take yourself down and try and come up again or something? I'll take you down for a second. How you doing, Sips?
How's it going, Pat?
Pretty good. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Doing all right. I actually do have quite a few questions.
Ooh, I like questions. If I can answer them, I like them.
Well, one of them's tea related. I'll have to pull it up in a second. I gotta find it. But I just have some other questions.
Well, man, I got 15 people watching this show. What's going on?
Nice. There we
Wow.
go. Let's get it up to 30.
It's never going to go to 30.
Yeah,
I've been working on this for 3-4 years. Just not going to 30.
that's all right.
I could give away $1,000 and it wouldn't go to 30.
Oh, they'll show up for $1,000.
Yeah, I would too. If it was like a 1 out of 10 chance, 1 out of 30 chance.
Yeah, those are good odds.
Yeah, they are. I never get those.
I'll take them odds all day long.
So what's going on? What kind of questions you got? I'm curious now.
So I got 4. The first one is long-term storage. So after harvest, how do you like to store your buds?
That's a great question. And for me personally, it's all like my personal head stash. I put in mason jars. I keep it. It'll last a long time. It'll last years. I think you want it in your first year. I don't. Someone maybe can give us some information on that. But usually, I think it starts breaking down after a year or so. But I'm not sure. But what do you mean by long term? A year? 6 months? What?
Probably no longer than a year, up to a year.
Yeah, I personally like mason jars.
Okay. Do you keep them in the dark?
Yes.
And do you throw any kind of like humidity packs in there, like the Bavitas or anything like that?
I don't. One thing I wanted to experiment with is because I think I talked about this before, that chlorophyll breaks. That's what you're trying to do when you're cured, is you're trying to break down the chlorophyll. Really, is what's going on, and chlorophyll breaks down more efficiently anaerobically. So they have these little things, and I'm sure you've seen them. They're called oxygen absorbers, and all they are is iron filings. unrusted iron filings, a little paper packet, looks like a salt pack. And I wanted to try those because what they do is they absorb the oxygen, and that's all. That's one thing I never did, but I wanted to try that. But I don't put anything in there. Those Bovitas and everything. I don't know. I'm not a I think they make things a little too moist, but I'm not sure.
They definitely can. So what I like to do is I like to use the sea vaults. Have you ever heard of those?
No, tell me.
It's basically a metal container that has locks on it, and then the underside of the cover has a little storage space for Bovita packs. So when I first harvest my crop, I like to throw about a 62% in there.
Okay.
And I'll let that ride out for like maybe the first month, and I switch it up to a 58.
Okay.
To get it a little bit drier.
Is that the lowest they go is 58?
No, I think they go down to like 55, maybe lower, 52 or something. But I like it. 58 is about as low as I like to go.
Yeah. I don't have I know a lot of people swear by Bovitas. I think my one of my helpers or my partner, I think he works with those a lot. But yeah, I got in there on early many years ago. I got the Bovitas, but it seemed to be a little on the moist side for my taste. And I think that since then they've taken them lower. But Billy Budd says vacuum seal mason jars. That now I'm curious. Would you vacuum? Is that where you vacuum the, because I've seen mason jars that have like a little vacuum seal lid that you can get for them, or are you talking about putting mason jars inside a plastic bag and vacuum sealing the plastic bag? I don't know.
I think that would work as long as your bud's at its like ideal moisture level, and
yeah, you definitely
because if you don't want to do that when it's too wet, and then you're just going to get mold. And
no, that's a great point. You definitely, I'll err on the side of being too dry every time if I have to err.
I see Love to Grow mention the Grove bags. I've seen those recently, and those look like they work really well because you can seal them, but they have some kind of technology that allows them to breathe essentially. So any excess moisture will breathe off.
Okay, so I think I've seen things before where they have a mason jar lid with a little like a one-way valve where you can suck, you can put a vacuum on it and pull the air out. I'm not sure, but yeah, another thing, people purge with nitrogen. They'll fill it with nitrogen for long term. I think that's basically getting rid of the oxygen or whatever, because nitrogen doesn't react with too much of anything. The N2 gas kind of.
I think that's what the government does up there in Canada for their cannabis.
Stored in nitrogen.
Yep.
Yep.
You see those people opening up those metal tin cans, and it's like, it's like that fresh seal.
I'm kind of curious on what the idea behind that is. Why, I know it's inert, and it purges out the other gases would be the things that I would think, but I don't know.
I think I would think it'd be to preserve the bud in its state that it's put into that canister or in the can.
Yeah, because oxygen actually is it's a very reactive element. O2 is very reactive with all kind of stuff. So yeah, that might be it.
All right, so that's long-term storage. My next question is, I've been seeing a lot of people recently talking about doing 48 hours of darkness before they go in, when they flip the flower. Now, usually I'll just go from 18:6 right to 12:12, one day to the next. I've never done a dark period like that. But I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it, saying that it really speeds up the process.
No, I think that's interesting. I could like slam the trigger on a little quicker, because I imagine it takes a few days for that plant to figure out that those days are changed when we do it artificially. No, that's interesting. I always looked at the 2 or 3 day blackout period at the end, and I did that a few times, and I think you talked about that too. But no, I've heard of that. I've never done it, but that's another one that would be easy to mess around with and just try to see. But yeah, it seems to me that it could shock them into flowering a little quicker, I would guess.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, everyone's talking about it. It switches the hormonal balance that much quicker. And in those 2 days, they go through a crazy stretch and they're just right into flower within those first 48 hours of darkness. I think my next grow, I'll try it, but
No, I think it's worth. I don't think it's going to hurt anything, right?
no.
You might, if anything, technically, theoretically, you could lose a little growth for those 2 days. That it's probably not going to be growing quite as fast, but you might say, yeah, I think that would be a interesting one to test out for sure.
If it does work, though, it'd be nice just to get them into flower that much quicker.
Yeah, I had another thought that I forgot. I jumped on those edibles early today, my friend, so we're gonna see how that goes.
All right, I'm gonna hit you with question 3. So, one of the things that I've done in the past, and actually today is day 21, is right about this time is get in there and do a hard defoliation. What do you think about that?
I think no, that's what I do too. I do a lot of defoliation. I don't know if I'd use the word hard, but I usually start and I'm always just kind of pruning all along, and then like when it usually gets to harvest time, I don't want to. I'm kind of down to not a whole lot left. But yeah, I think it's good for airflow. Is what, because I do think, and we've talked about before, I do think you need some airflow under the plant. It's even just for transpiration. Not just is so that the plant will drink a lot more if there's air flowing underneath the leaves. So yeah, I default, I do too. I take a lot of the big ones off. I've been told before, like the big fan leaves that are on the main stalks, they just contribute to the stalk. But again, I don't know all the details. But what you talked about a little bit, that the stuff that fascinates me, maybe if there's some kind of biologist out there or chemist, what molecule in the plant that knows how long the day is? There's got to be some kind of clock molecule or some kind of chemical reaction that takes a certain amount of time. You know what I mean? How does it know when the days are shorter or longer? That I would love to know that mechanism. How what's going on molecularly that the plant says, oh, okay, it's time to flower, because it's got to be some kind of light sensing clock.
Yeah, it has to be something within the photosynthesis process, right? I mean, the leaf just sensing that there's less light, and
yeah, well,
I don't know.
And it's on some kind of clock too, right? Because less light, you just might get less sugar output, but it's gotta know at some point, okay, it's time to flower, and it's done by the light being less, and no, it'd be some chemical, it's some chemical reaction. But no, I'm real curious. Maybe if someone knows about that, hormones build up in the dark cycle. Maybe that's it, and maybe they just build to a certain point.
Well, I wonder if he's talking about that 48 hours of darkness before you flip. But it also could just be that's how the plant knows it's flowering time. It's hormone switch based on that light schedule, which it does. I don't know if that's what drives it though. That's it's a good question.
That's it. And I've been looking a little bit into nutrition, and I always, it's a little bit mistaken, and I was always of this frame of mind that, like, okay, if you eat 100 calories and you burn off 100 calories, you're not going to gain any weight, right? But it actually, hormones dramatically tell your body what to do with calories. It's actually quite amazing how hormone driven life is. So very would that flowering could be a hormone thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll get some. That's one of the questions I would like to know.
Yeah, and back to the defoliation thing. So you had mentioned airflow. One of the other things I like about it is removing some of the big leaves inside. That way you don't have pockets of weird pockets of moisture or humidity in there. You get more of an even VPD throughout the canopy.
No, and now as I'm thinking about things, and this would be a reason not to default, because the surface area of the leaves is where the plant gets its energy from, right? And its sugars and all that stuff. So the more you remove those, yeah, I don't know. Because I definitely see the benefit is better airflow, and like you said, with humidity, you can get some problems with blood molds and stuff if it's not good airflow. So that would be a positive, but maybe one of the negatives, you're just not quite going to get the plant that, I don't know. That would be some really good information to get, and I'm sure somebody knows about that.
Yeah, I've seen people do it. I've seen people not defoliate at all, and it looks good. And I've seen people do like a really hard strip where, I mean, the plant looks like almost naked, and at the end they seem to produce just as well.
They see, yeah, I would just like to see the actual numbers. And like I said, going back on memory now, but yeah, by the time I was ready to harvest, there wasn't a whole lot of fan leaves left. But I was big on going in the middle, and I usually take them lower. I start lower, and yeah, and towards the middle where they get thicker, because I'm thinking about airflow for sure. I'm thinking about airflow, and yeah, like what I was saying before, what drives a plant to drink water, but correct me if I'm wrong, is the process of a water molecule being evaporated from the bottom of a leaf. That's what drives it. That water molecule leaves and then another one goes in. So it's driven by that fact. So as I was sitting here thinking, the more leaves you have, the more opportunity you have for the plant to drink water, because the water, what drives the plant to drink water is the evaporation of water from the bottom of the leaves. That's why I like to see a lot of airflow under leaves, because the plants drink a lot more. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm definitely rambling on right now.
No, it does. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
I don't even know what I just said. So I don't know if it makes that much sense.
All right, so I got one more question, Pat. This is someone hit me up and was asking me about tea because I brewed up some Happy Endings tea, and they said, "Do you scope your tea? It doesn't take long to go from a diverse collection of microbes to a protozoa soup." I was wondering if you could speak to that at all because I
Okay,
wasn't sure.
say that again.
This guy asked if I scope my tea because he said it doesn't take long to go from a diverse collection of microbes
Hmm.
to a protozoa soup.
I'm wondering what, okay, I'm not sure what that means. I imagine what that means is like the trichoderma are going to take over eventually and just end up eating everything, would be my guess, is what he's trying to say. And I'm just, and that could be true. But again, I think that probably happens before it starts. I mean, after it starts smelling real bad. So I'm always big on the scent test, and usually you can go 4 or 5 days before it starts to sour at all. So I have not looked. I've tested the MPK throughout the brewing process, but I've never actually looked. I've never scoped it for, because bacteria. I've never really had the means to do the bacteria. But no, it's interesting. That could be, but I don't think it would, even a protozoa tea, would that hurt anything? I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I've never had the longest I brew now in flour is 48 hours, and I've never had an issue.
No, I've gone probably even longer in this, like if I have a batch going and I get, and I use it for 3 or 4 days, and then I'll add more water. Like if it'll be a quarter left and I'll add water and put a little more tea in and keep brewing it. I'll do that for 10 or 12 days. I think that would probably be pushing. I've never really run into any problems as far as it even smelling, but I'm big on, I like a clean, earthy, sweet smell. Some people are big on the sour smells. I just don't like stuff that smells horrible. And some stuff, and it works though. Some people are big on the anaerobic stuff, but that stuff's nasty.
I am too. I like the ferments. I use like an alfalfa ferment, and then
Oh,
like now
okay.
in flour, I like to use a peach and a pumpkin.
Oh,
And that stuff stinks to. I mean, it smells terrible, but the plants love it, and I feel like stink in equals stink out. You know.
I don't know. That's what I worry about. What kind of smell do you want coming out? And I also know this, and I'm not real sure on this, but when I used to make bokashi, which is an anaerobic product, right?
Mhm.
It needs to ferment without oxygen, and then when you put it in a aerobic tea, it's like it was a multiplication factor of 10. And I'm not sure why that, but mixing anaerobic bacteria stuff with aerobic bacteria stuff between the tea and bokashi, anyways, it was amazing how they reacted to each other. It was very vigorous how they reacted. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. So somebody's got a pumpkin FPJ. Interesting. So we got somebody else. I need to get back. Someone said I need to get back in the game again. Run boy, you might be right. I need to get back in the game.
You know, I think it would be a good idea, Pat, for you to have a series where you're growing with your products to really, you know, show people what they're doing. I mean, you got a few of us out here using them. I think Buds is probably the person I know that like, you know, uses your products solely. But I think if you had a series where you were showcasing your products and your grow and people could see the results, I think that would be a big help for you.
I don't think it would hurt.
Seeing is believing, you know?
No, I don't think it would hurt. I should, but then, but what if it's just a shit show though? I'll tell you what, I've never grown an indoor plant with even HPS lights as big and as rigorous as you and Buds pull off, or some of the other people who come on here. Actually, you guys blow me away. That, you know, that's a single plant we're looking at on your screen. I've never pulled that off.
Yeah, it is. And that one's probably filling out about a 3x3 space because it didn't fill out the whole trellis. But yeah, in organics, I don't know. I think it's fairly easy. Just takes a little bit of time, effort.
No, organics is nice. In fact, I would, if I was to do it again, I definitely would. I would try I would look at the LED route again. I would definitely look into that and try to get a little more experience in that. But yeah, we'll see. I'm open. I should be open to anything at this point, and I am. Anyways, I never heard from HTG, and I don't know if I got the information if you sent it to me. I don't know. I don't remember that. I remember, I think you told me that you dropped some stuff up there, but I don't think I got. Oh, I need to get kicked in the butt once in a while. Thank you, Billy Buds. I appreciate that. I need a reality check now and again. You guys are good for that. Thank you. You're not a bunch of yes men. Oh, especially Rum Boy. Rum Boy's he's always on me. But I like Rum Boy. Rum Boy's a good dude.
Need people to keep you honest.
You need that. Yeah, you definitely need that. Cheers. Cheers.
So what's new in your world, Pat?
What's that?
What's new in your world?
Oh man, still business is tough. I'm working still working a second job. I can cry and whine a lot, but no, we'll see. I'm going to make a trip down to the weather here has just been actually sucky. But I need to get down to Humboldt and do some rounds, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to keep looking at the sunny side, right? Life is a weird thing. I've been actually very fortunate for a long time now, but you know, life is a series of ups and downs and good and bad. And if it's good, it's going to get bad. If it's bad, it'll probably get good. So I got to keep that in mind, right?
It's a roller coaster for sure.
Yeah, and I've been actually very lucky. I've been very lucky, so I'm not going to complain a lot.
The only thing I wish I knew when those good times were happening, for I can enjoy them a little bit more. You know.
No, that's what I kind of try to do that. When you get older, you start to, you have to, because there's not a lot in the future. But no, it's no, and actually, when you look back at your life, if most people, I think this is true. I'm going to be a little philosophical here. Sorry. When you look, I think when you're older, especially, even when you're ready, some of the best times have nothing to do with when you're, clicking on all cylinders with money and everything. Some of your best times are when you were struggling a little bit. That's where good memories come from. I think there's something to that.
That's somewhat true. I can agree with that.
Yeah, and it's nostalgic. It's always seems a little better in the past, but no, I've always said that my life has been in the history of human beings, in the history of our species on Earth, whatever that might be. I've lived in a bubble that's been as good as probably any bubble that any humans have lived in. You know what I mean? I haven't suffered for anything. I haven't had to I haven't had to go to war. I haven't had to, you know what I'm saying? I can go travel where I want. I can eat what I want. I'm soft.
Yeah.
I'm very soft compared to our ancestors.
We have first world problems for sure.
No. So I try to keep that in mind because I fully expect I will experience some, probably younger people even more probable, that we're not going to, it's not always going to be soft. I think it could get real nasty. I don't know. What's an SOP? What's an SOP?
Standard operating procedure.
Yeah. For green bicycles and then sell it. Okay. I have somebody that travels all over these new states that are legalizing and get your products out there. All the farms are drying up. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I actually, I'm not one to, I'm not one to say I know about marketing, but I don't. Anyways, it's a tough year for a lot of things. I don't think,
I heard an interesting stat from this one.
Let's hear it.
One guy, he was saying that 85% of everyone who tries to grow fails and quits.
How many?
85%
of that for personal.
Yeah.
Really? That number's changed a lot, I think.
Seems pretty high. If that's how many try and fail and just never try it again.
Yeah, because yeah. No, that's it. That is interesting statistics.
I don't know where the guy's pulling his numbers from, but that's what he was talking about. I just thought I was like pretty surprising. And then he said out of the last 15%, he's like maybe there's only like 5% of people that do it really, really good. That are growing, I guess, top shelf buds and producing at high levels as far as like quantity.
Yeah.
It's definitely an art, though. Well, in a science too. There's a lot of science behind it.
No, it's yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Like, have Humboldt County is losing grocery stores? They just boom close. We used to have them everywhere, or not everywhere. But there was at least 10 of them in more than that in Humboldt County. But in like Eureka and Arcata, there's, I don't know, a lot of grocery stores, and they're just gone now. What does that say about like the home grower? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, I think it's like most businesses, right? I mean, when you can have Amazon deliver right to your door, what's the sense of having a brick and mortar out there?
No, I know.
All these companies, I can order pretty much everything and have it show up to my doorstep, and I never have to leave my house. I mean, it's a convenience factor that's killing, Main Street.
And here, that's why I shouldn't bitch. Well, I'm going to, but I shouldn't and that's one of the reasons I think stores kind of got a little pissy with me, is because I'm selling on Amazon. I do try to make it higher than the store. I really do, just for that reason. And Amazon, when you do that, Amazon knows that, and they fuck you too. You kind of get fucked on both ends. But when I have an online store and I'm on Amazon, brick and mortar stores aren't real interested anymore, because like if they can buy it cheaper on Amazon to get it shipped to them, I don't want it in my store. And I can understand that, but then again, I'm online and I don't sell shit online. I was doubling my sales every year on Amazon till last year, and they went to zero because I have a website now that sells stuff. So Amazon like buries me. I don't know what it is. Wah. But yeah, I got bit with the online thing, because it's like, see, I tried to play both sides, and I don't think you can. I just don't think you can. I don't know.
That's pretty interesting. That you can't, that it's not working out in both, both sides of it.
No, and both for years, both of them were growing crazy. It was like, wow, this is easy. I actually thought I was kind of smart in business.
Do you think that's more just related to like the state of the whole economy right now, just being entirely fucked?
I don't think it's like a typically. I think it's an industry, and one of the reasons I know that is my partner has his ear to the ground. You know, he's a player in this industry, and and he's not worried. You know, he seems to think it's going to recover. So, and it's industry wide. It's not, you know, it's just like not my company all of a sudden not selling anything. It's a lot of people are going under. So I don't know. I want to have I want to have faith like he does, but hopefully it'll turn around. You know, and it could. Next month could change everything. So you know that's what weird about this business. One phone call actually can make a whole year. All that happens. So.
Well, and what do you think about like the I feel like there's like an over flooding of products on the market. There's so many different products out there, from lights to tents to whatever you can think you need for growing. There's 101 companies out there that are selling products.
No, things definitely got saturated in all of it. You know, nutrients and yeah, there was a couple of yeah, all of it that I think it's just too much. And now and a lot of people are growing, so it was a weird there was a weird growth spirit. You know, if you remember the good old days were amazing. You know, growth stores were just killing it. You know, they were just killing it. And a lot of people, I don't know. I don't know what happened to all the fun and games, but and I wish I would have kept my bitcoins in 2010 and 11 and 12. I wish I would have kept them. If you know what I'm saying. Then I wouldn't be here. No, my good question. It's not. One of the reasons is we have so many ingredients in there that for to have your thing certified organic, it's from less things I've changed. I have to keep track of it from where it was made, where it was farmed, you know, what field it came from. I have to keep track of the way bills on how it was traveled. It's a pain in the butt. And then if you have 20 ingredients, it makes it almost impossible to keep track of all of that. So it's real hard. You know, if you notice a lot of certified organic products, there's only a couple ingredients or minimal ingredients for that reason. It is not, but you know, technically it is organic. Everything is in there is natural. So I don't know. Let's see here. Fertilizer was the gasoline of the hydroponic industry. Yes. And that's back when, you know, when it was going for $3,200 a pound. You know, you could sell decent sold for $3,200 a pound. Now, decent sells for 800, 900, 1,000. So that makes a big difference too, if you know what I'm saying. Organics, yeah. No, I just think organic and knowledge help to that because and actually the growth stores used to tell me that they said, man, we don't make nearly the money off a grower if they buy your products as they do if they buy House and Garden or one of those big lines where they have to buy all these bottles and pay out the nose for them. So definitely lowered their profit margins. Yeah, I'd like actually Build a Soil. I need to actually I want to talk to Build a Soil. I need to get a hold of them. I don't know the number, but like I said, it's not trivial, and you got to keep a lot of records, and a lot of these records I can't get. It's like when I get my email that's shipped from India, and I need to know how it traveled and if it was ever contaminated. You know, it's like that stuff's unavailable for some things, so that has to be looked into it. How much can I save you? Okay, let me give you some of the prices. What I'll do for. So normally, I don't know. I think these retail for like $15.99 in a store. It's 2 pounds of tea. It makes about 45 gallons of pure fertilizer, but you can actually make about 90 or even a little bit more, 150 gallons of aerated living fertilizer. So these usually sell for $15.99, I think. The Ocean Bounty is a soil amendment mix. This will do up to 2 cubic feet of soil. I think this sells for $9.99. I'm thinking. So I think these are about 25 bucks. I know that seems like a lot, but this will be enough for like 5 plants for an entire season. I know that. Anyways, I will sell these for $5 a piece plus shipping, and these for $10 a piece plus shipping. So if that turns out, and you can ship in medium, it's best to ship in a medium box or a large box. I can ship 8 of them in a large box for 20 bucks. I can ship 4 of them in a medium box for $15. So that's what else. Anybody watching? That's not a bad deal, actually. So instead of paying $25, you get these for $15. I guess that's a pretty good deal. So random.
That's a damn good deal, because that means that's only $3 for each plant for fertilizer.
No, it is. It's very
That's
cost effective.
damn
And
cheap.
if you buy bulk, it's even that gets cut down another 30%. Costs a lot of money to put them in those individual 2-pound packages. But if you bought bulk, it's best to go like in 15 and 25-pound bulk, it's even cheaper. So payment, I personally like, I can do PayPal or checks. I think I have a Square thing where I can do them. I prefer a check. I hardly ever get burned until last year I started getting burned for some reason. But if you put in an order, usually what I do is it goes out that day. I'll ship you the tracking information, and then I just ask you to put a check in the mail. That's what I like to do. That's my easiest way, I guess I should say. Well, thank you. I think it is a pretty good deal. PayPal is fine. Yeah, I like that. It's just all of them. They all get you for a little bit. Let me type in my number in there and give me a call. You're more than welcome. You'll usually hear me directly. I might be a little groggy. That's the number, or you can call. You can get in touch with me at. There you go. That's how you can get in touch with me. Is that a pretty good deal?
I think that's a great deal.
Yeah.
And I can speak to the product. I just fed Happy Endings tea tonight. As a matter of fact, right before the show started.
I like it.
Each one of my plants got just over a half gallon each.
You know what? I'm going broke. What the hell? Why not go there a little quicker, right? Let's get there a little quicker. I got 31 people. Wow, that's like crazy high numbers for this kid. How about we'll do a giveaway now? What do you say?
Let's do it. What are you giving away?
One of the 2 of these and 2 of these. So let's see. That would be.
I have one suggestion, Pat.
That'd be $45. Yes.
So do a 1-in-1, then do 2 giveaways tonight, 2 different winners.
1-in-1. I could do that. But here's the deal with that. The way the shipping works is I can ship 1 for like $7. I can ship. Then the next level is $14, which I can ship up to 4 in. You know,
I got you.
It's a weird. So it actually doesn't make sense. These, you know what I'm saying? The shipping costs more than this for me. That's what I want to say. My MPK numbers. Billy Buds. Here, I'll show you. But let me talk. Billy Buds. I don't know if you're new to this. This is the Ocean Bounty. It's 391. And Billy Buds, you're going to start me in the Happy Endings is a 152, but there's a caveat to that Billy Buds, and it's actually very interesting. And numbers on these, especially salts, it's much more critical. Salts is a much more accurate, direct number because the salt has 2 or 3 different kinds of atoms in there, 2 to 5, something like that. Where this has protein, which has thousands and thousands of atoms per protein molecule, right? When it's organic, it doesn't, the numbers aren't really that meaningful. And let me try to explain. When I did the tea, here's an example. I took it to a lab, and first of all, these get sent to an agricultural lab, and they usually, it's some kind of really strong acid. They 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 break it down, and then they look at all the different elements that are in there. It's usually phosphoric acid, and that's what you'll get a lab report back, and that's what you use. And actually, these are minimums. It's a weird, if you don't know a lot about it. So that's a guaranteed minimum amount. So it could have quite a bit more in there, believe it or not, but that number is a minimum. Like for the tea, it says 152. Well, when you take an organic and you mix it in water, reactions start to happen. A lot of biological reactions start, especially when you put it in a tea brewer and you add sugar. It's just in creating a tea. It's the chemistry and biology in there is a lot more than I care to even to how complicated what's going on in there. So what I'm trying to say is, what I did is once I started brewing the tea, I had the NPK measure again over a period of time. One of the things that was interesting about that was that I get most of my phosphorus from bone meal. So the phosphorus didn't really start showing up until 24 hours of brewing. There was some in it, but it was minimal. And then it like doubled after 24 hours, and it kept increasing. I think I did it for about 5 days. But it turns out this numbers are not even close to the same ratios as it is once it gets brewed with water. It turns out this is a super potassium tea. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but what the plant sees is a lot different than this. In fact, it's super high in potassium when it gets brewed. So, actually, yes. What's funny, I think, it's the molecule they use is called P2O5. It's called phosphate, and I don't even know if that molecule actually exists. But it's a phosphate group of molecules between. That's what's usually indicated. That's what they measure in this. But yes, it's not elemental phosphorus, but it's a phosphate. I think there's usually oxygen and stuff mixed with it, but because phosphorus by itself is pretty reactive. Oh, hey, Slab City News, how we doing? What do you think? You know what? I got the hordes are coming in. Let's do a giveaway. I don't know how to do that duck race yet. If someone can tell me, how about a 4-pack of Ocean Bounty instead for a giveaway? Yeah, I could do that random. But I kind of like, if it's new, if it's someone new, I like to let them have the tea, because the tea is one of these products that actually people really notice a difference. That's for sure.
I know. Yeah. I love the tea. Tomorrow my plants are going to be happy girls.
No, yeah. No, I'm not a beekeeper. I think it's someday, maybe when I get real old and retire, like in 2 years, maybe I'll do bees. But I think that's so golden that if I made bees, I would sell the honey and say, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Do you know the name of that game? Maybe I could probably try to share the screen or something. I don't know. But how about we'll just pick numbers? Want to do a giveaway? I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm going to give away 2 of each. What the heck? I'm feeling pretty good. We've been here about 50 minutes. And I'm going to give away Happy Endings. I'm going to give away Ocean Bounty. Shipping you. And yeah, amazing. Let me write down a number. Don't pick yet, because it might be in the range that you might not think it is. Oh, okay. I got a new piece of paper. Oh, we're down to 29 people. Oh man, I wanted to have 30. Like heck, celebrate 30, but I'll do it anyways. Let's do a range between 800 and 1,000. The number picked between 800 and 1,000. Go ahead and start putting them down. I only want you to pick one number, but if you pick more than one number, it's going to be your last number. A number between 800 and 1,000. Oh, do you have a number in mind? Love to go. Let's go ahead and do this. I have the number written right here, black ink, 3 digits. Oh, I'm seeing the numbers come in. There's that. Oh, 30. We got 30. I feel a little bit more legitimate. Can you see the number? Can you see the number I wrote down in my glasses? Is that cheating? Uh-oh. Oh, I thank you for tuning in tonight on your Saturday. You can be doing so many cool things. Hello, Deb G and Bullet and Sammy's Van Life and Ann Short. Yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with you, Ann. Maybe you can get me started in another direction. Martial Artist 2012. Welcome, Mojo Rising, Robert Federiconi. Welcome, sir, Flaviano Soltera. Welcome. Billy Buds, good luck, sir. I think Billy Buds, you ever want to come up and talk? We could have a little talk. There we got Vets Grow, unless got to see a picture. There we go. Yeah, the number's between 800 and 1,000. Somewhere between 800 and 1,000. Kess, how you doing tonight?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
What's going on, Vets?
What's happening, Sips? How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Just chilling.
How you doing, man? You being a rancher?
Yeah, I've been busy. I missed last week because I was at an auction. And almost missed tonight. Coming back from, I went to an auction last night. I wasn't able to carry everything out of there. I bought a bunch of fencing, and I had the wife's car, so shoved in there what I could, and had to go back and pick up the rest today. But yeah, I'm ranching. I sold some goats this week. I bought a bunch of chickens. Yo, I think I'm right around 180 baby chickens right now. I got a lot of birds on the farm.
So you've been watching a little too much Yellowstone, I'm thinking.
No, I've never seen that. I've heard of it.
Oh, that's a good show. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
You'll be going out buying cattle and stuff, probably.
So I'm getting ready to lease 40 acres, a mile and a half down the road here.
And a mule?
Huh?
You want to get a mule too?
No, I think I'm going to get some cattle. I've already got a donkey. I've got a donkey here for my part of my livestock guardian animal. But no, I got 40 acres that I'm getting ready to lease, and I think I'm gonna throw a couple of cattle over there. Do that for maybe if I can put. I figured I can put 30 or 3 cattle over there, and if they all have babies, 6 cattle is enough for 30 acres out here without overgrazing it. And then when I go and buy these either buy meat goats or my goats have kids and they need to not be money dumped into them, they go out there with the cattle and eat with them for free. So I'm paying $400 a year for 40 acres, and that's going to save me probably a couple $1,000s in feed material.
How far is it from you?
About a mile and a half. I got to get a horse so I can ride it over there. So you know, this chicken math thing really gets going crazy when you start getting another one and another thing, and then you need that. It's a mess. I don't know how I'm able to sustain so far.
Someone had a quick question. Billy Buds, soybean meal, no sir. That's interesting. Soybean is an interesting one. There's some hot button topics. Soybean is one, but I do use, and it might be cheating a little bit, a soybean hydrosolate, I think it's called. So I have an amino acid product that is derived from soybeans, if that's any, which I love, which is a secret little ingredient. But yes, it doesn't have any soybean meal, but that's one that a lot of people, they don't like it because of the GMO thing. It's weird. You're going to piss somebody off at some level with some ingredient, it turns out.
Is it the GMO, or is it that the fields that they grow the soy in are treated with Roundup?
Probably both. Is Roundup still being used?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, there's a guy just over the mountain on the other side here. He's got buffalo, and he's got those big what is it, ICB totes that holds like 300 gallons of liquid, and that's what he buys the Roundup in. He buys it in the 300 gallons, and he sprays it on his hay fields.
no, I saw it. You know, I don't know how, if this goes in down the rabbit holes of conspiratorial stuff, but something is changed in, you know, America, like with kids and stuff, like with autism, and there's a lot of things that are different. Whether you blame it on a lot, I think it could be environmental or whatever. And actually, someone kind of did you know, and I'm sure it's a number of things. I'm sure it's really complicated, but what Roundup does, you know, its mechanism that it works so well, it stops this certain amino acid chain from happening in a plant, and the plant needs that to happen, and it dies. But that amino acid chain is something that's very, but you know, it's critical for humans. So, and not only that that tons and tons of Roundup, it evaporates in the air and it rains. So literally, there's no such thing as an organic garden anywhere within probably thousands of miles of fields of Roundup, because it rains back down. You know, it's probably at a much lower level, but those chemicals are getting into plants and they're disrupting this amino acid chain process that is critical for animals. And so plants aren't nearly as nutritious overall anymore, is one theory, but it was kind of a deep little rabbit hole, but you know, it kind of made some sense. But Roundup is like, and some of the things with like autism, it's kind of unique to the United States compared to Europe. And Europe banned that shit. You know, Europe said, no, we don't, this is, in fact, the whole idea behind Roundup is Roundup will kill any plant that has not been genetically modified to accept Roundup. It kills every plant. It doesn't discriminate.
Like corn and soy and
everything,
Mhm.
unless the plant has been genetically modified to accept it. That's how insidious it is. It's actually, it's like a science fiction movie or something. Like, here's a company, here, we're going to make a chemical that if you don't use our seeds, your plants are going to die. But anyways.
Well, that and I think it's every year. Somebody can fact check me on this, but I think it's either every year or every couple years. Roundup has to change their formula because the pest. Oh, wait a minute! It's not Roundup; it's a pesticide. That's right.
Oh yeah, pests adapt to that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They have to change the chemical makeup of it because they adapt and become immune to it. They build up a resistance to it, and it's another big problem.
Oh, you know what? People stop entering numbers, and I'm high AF right now. You ready to give the big reveal?
Yeah, I forgot we were doing that. I put my number in it. What I have, 897.
I think I lost a lot of people. You put, okay, I got to scroll back up. See here, maybe someone can help me. I'm going to scroll up. I got all these. You ready for the number? Oh, look what it is. 820. Who's close to 820? Let's see here. I got an 816. That's pretty close. 816. That's the best one, I think. Martial Artist 2012. I think that's it, buddy. Martial Artist. Because the number was 820. Trying to be honest. So Martial Artist, did you get my email? Send me your a name and a shipping address that's legitimate, and love to hear them. Love to hear them. Short. Let's see.
Hey, Sips.
Yo, what up, Vips?
Hey, when you gonna get some chickens crawling around underneath them plants?
Not indoors, man. You saw my setup. I'm in the city.
Yeah.
I don't even think I can have chickens in my backyard because of the HOA.
Really?
Oh
What's that?
yeah.
No, you got to ask permission for everything. I can't go plant a tree. I got to ask to be a specific tree. It's
Yeah, it has to match the other trees in the neighborhood or some crap like
yeah,
that.
or whatever their rules are. They have specifics. It's so dumb.
And you got to pay for that too. Usually, don't you? Got to pay for that privilege of having rules. Isn't that the beautiful part?
The nice thing is they keep the sidewalks clean and they repave the streets.
That's good.
So outside of that, they do suck.
No, actually, on my street, I live. I think it's a half-mile long at least. Where my end of it's a half mile, but it's a dirt road, and the people own it, and it's one of those things that turns out works out okay. But what about half the people pitch in? Because it's a dirt road where it rains a lot, takes a lot of maintenance. It needs to be in the winter. Tractored weekly.
Well, don't be nice about it. Where you're at, it's not a dirt road; it's clay, and when it gets wet, it's a slip and slide.
No, it's like a battlefield too, really fast. But no, it's I can relate. Yeah, we don't live on a city street, but there's good and bad to that. I always try to do more than my share on that, and it's one of those jobs that's thankless. So maybe the HOAs are kind of good, but they're not required here. So people like somebody say, not my problem. But anyways, I'm off on a tangent that I don't know why I went off on, but HOAs, I guess,
Well, hey,
got me going.
Well, vets, I do
hey,
got worms under there. I got a bunch of worms going.
Oh, good. What are you feeding them?
all your
I feed them trimmings and then stuff from the kitchen like bell peppers and stuff that I don't end up using, jalapenos.
so you don't have them hopping out of your pot finding dead ones on the floor.
No, because I only put them in
Good,
once I
right
put
on.
the mulch cover on, so they pretty much stay. They'll come up to the top when the lights first come on, and then they dive deep after that. So
Well,
he's
I
gonna be
know,
doing all
I
right.
know when you don't have enough food in the pots, they'll start crawling out trying to find, better source of food.
Well, I top dress every 2 weeks, so there's plenty of food in there, and actually the worms are the ones that are help breaking down all that organic material.
Right
They
on.
do that. They're good for that.
I did keep a side bucket this grow of worms, and they turned that into worm castings pretty damn quick. About a half full 5-gallon bucket.
hmm About
It only
2 weeks,
took
is it?
Yeah, I had to take them all out because they were just turning into just liquid. They didn't even want to stay in there. They're trying to escape. So I took all those worms out, threw them into my pots, and then I'm going to use that for my next top dress.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see what's in my compost bin. I got it. Well, I shouldn't call it a bin. My compost mountain. I got 3 round bales full of fecal soaked. Thank you. Hay. It's got all the goat poo in it and urine and all that stuff. And then I'm hoping that hopefully by this time next year, a lot of that'll be all broke down. I really need to get out there and rotate that pile. It really needs rotated.
The worm casting business is a lot of work. It's heavy and dirty. You got to move a lot of heavy wet stuff. So actually, I better do this. I haven't seen this one up here, Blind Cat 420, but I better more than just if it's true, I better give you a shout out also.
Blind Cat, if that's the same cat I know, that Blind Cat 420 is from not down the road here, but here in my area.
Are you soaked in shit all the time, Cass?
Pretty much. My wife, she yells at me when I wear my shoes outside, and then she'll wash them, and then I'll wear them right back outside and get them messed up. But yeah, I'm ankle deep in shit all the time.
You need a, and I actually, that's not I think other countries do it. We don't. We need to take our shoes off in the house, or at least have house
Uh-huh.
slippers or something. I mean, just it's not a hat. It should be, because I bring in, I can't imagine what I track in. I got a lot of shit on my ground in the backyard.
Yep. I mean, and we take our shoes off right at the door. But I mean, you think about it, all the microbial colonies that are, attaching themselves to the bottom of your shoe. Not all of them are, 100% grade A bacterias and stuff that we want on us or in our bodies or
No,
whatnot.
no, especially around poop.
Yeah.
They tend to go there.
And you know what's funny though is people always get like concerned when you have birds because they immediately think E. coli, and it's really funny. The numbers, when it comes to the numbers, people that have chickens, ducks, those kind of fowl or poultry, um, there's only a slight increase on E. coli cases with those people compared to people that don't have any birds around them.
Interesting. I'm going to ask Mojo Rising. He wanted to remind us. So, $5 a piece, $10 a piece. If you get 4 of them, which is your best, if you get 4 or 8, it's your best deal. So if you get 4, 2 of each, it would be $45 shipped to you, because it's about $15 a ship, right? 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 10 is 20. 10 plus 20 is 30. 30 plus 15 shipping is $45, and you'll get it in usually 2 or 3 days, depending where. But yeah, they ship out that day. I got plenty in stock. That's the deal for the viewers, the 20 some viewers that are in here. Thank you for coming in. We've been about an hour. I'm on fumes at this point.
So you did the giveaway, and you're doing a special deal if people order through your website or contact
No, they
you.
should,
Is that what I heard?
they should call me for that. The website, you're not going to get that same deal because it's out of my control.
Right.
And if you get 8, it would be the shipping instead of 15 for 4 is 20 for 8. So you can save $10, right? Something like that.
And you know what? You do the math with the shipping and everything. Me as an individual still cannot go off and buy all these dry materials and blend them together to your recipe and it be any cheaper. It's just not possible.
No.
So that's a hell of a deal.
No, it's actually, yeah, it's actually a real good deal. It's weird. You have a good. I probably talked about this before. Maybe if Ann Short's listening, business. I was told this by an uncle of mine. A lot of my family members are in business, and in business, there's 3 things that you can offer. You can offer price, service, or quality. Right? Those are the 3 things that, in general, that you're going to offer is price, service, and quality as a business. You can only pick 2.
Service and quality.
That's what I want. But also, my prices are low. So maybe I need to raise my prices, and it's a psychological thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I give great. To say I give great service doesn't sound right, but my company does do very good service. So we try to take care of our customers, and it's a very good product, right? It's a quality. It's not shit. It's actually, this is like a gourmet meal for your plant. It really is. So I don't know. I'm trying to. I think since I try to do all 3, it ruined my company. So I probably should raise the prices. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I judge, or you base my judgment. There we go. Off of the quality and the service of a product. I mean, if you can go and buy the best, I don't care what it is. Let's just pretend and say, well, there we go. Let's pretend and say it's Nextlight, right? Go and buy the best light in the world from Nextlight. But if their customer service, which is like if you call and you're trying to, hey, I have some diodes out or something, you should be able to call them and get a hold of somebody, and they should with their great customer service, ship you another light, right? But if you call and you can't talk to a human to fix the problem, that's not good customer service. So that's like number one. If you call somebody and you don't get a human, I wouldn't even really use that product. But like with your product, hey, I got a bag that's half full. I mean, that would never happen, but I could be like, hey, I can call you up, right? And you'll probably replace it or double it for the inconvenience or whatever the customer service protocol is.
No, not only that, you get the guy who actually invented it.
There
Talking
you
to
go.
him, that's who you talk to when you call my company. They ask if I know about it, and I say I know a little bit about it. But yeah, I offer that. Every order, I give a handwritten note to people, and I sign it. I thought that would be cool, right? Why don't people like that stuff? They're missing.
I do. When I first like physically got to have personal contact with you and Sub, um, I still have the letter that you wrote and sent it out here to Oklahoma to me like what 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, I mean, you may not think that it sticks with people, but customers really do appreciate that kind of attention to, hey, you're dealing with me, kind of thing.
No, it is. I think that's kind of cool. And somebody, Dabby J, that surprises me. I think what did I ship that out Monday or Tuesday? Whenever I shipped it out when I sent you but I'll check on that when I hang up here and we'll see. But if that doesn't get to you, I'll resend it out to you. But it
Well,
did
you
get
got a tracking number on that, don't you?
That's the beauty of it all. That's the beauty.
Right on.
But yes, I try to do customer service. But yeah, I don't think my prices are crazy. You can't. I can't compete with salt-based fertilizers because, like I said, a salt is one guy in a factory on a shift can make tons of these salt fertilizers all by himself. To get a ton of alfalfa, all the work that goes involved with that, or a ton of bone meal, the farming, the feed, the butchering, the taking the bones and all that work to make a pound. You know what I'm saying? All the labor that goes into making an organic thing is just so much. So many more hands have to touch it than the salt. The salt is, I could go out in my laboratory and make ammonia sulfate or whatever I want.
Right.
With basic household chemicals, typically. So it's weird. That's why it's hard to compete with that. It just is. And that's what.
And you know what? I think some of these numbers here lately, I don't. You guys out in California know better than pretty much anybody else, but it seems like the more that these states they go rec, and it's really sad. And I wish it wasn't this way, but once it goes rec, your small growers get pushed out. Your corporate backed or big money backed businesses continue on, and when that happens, you do get away from organic growers because they are competing at that full throttle level, and when you're trying to maximize your pennies and make dollars, salt is the way to go. And I tell everybody that's where this whole in the industry where I think it's going south. We're losing the quality of the product through legalization.
And
But
I think that same argument can be made for beef, pigs, big ag, what it's done. It used to be not that long, a couple generations ago where pigs were all probably fairly local or whatever, you know what I mean? And now they're at one place where it's people have to wear suits and it's indoors and the pigs are so genetically modified that they can't be exposed to out, you know what I mean? It's just, and that's what happens. And the money comes in and that's what happens. I mean, it's the game we play.
it's sad. Yeah.
It is. It is. And it really hit California hard, especially Northern, and I'll say I was one of them. I was cheering. You know, I heard both arguments. There was a lot of people who understood we have, you know, it's going to wipe us out if we have recreational. They knew that. You know, the medical was kind of cool for everybody, because what a medical did is it kind of eliminated the Black Hawk helicopters, because they weren't going to go up there, you know, and doing these raids where it took a lot of money, where it ended up being an okay farm. You know what I mean? So, in that mess with the cops and everything, all of a sudden, some people could have marijuana. So it became, instead of, oh, you smell marijuana, you know what I'm saying? It was like a hot, you know, it was like, so it changed the whole law enforcement. So it's kind of a sweet period, and everyone kind of knew what was, you know, our people who knew. I was probably naive on that because I was on the other end, and I'm thinking the more legal it is, you know, the better it is for everybody. But no, I was probably wrong about that.
Well, it's right now we've got what is it, Senate Bill 820 that they're voting on. It started a couple days ago, and I think it ends on Tuesday. But yeah, we're voting on recreational, and I've been telling everybody asked me about it. What do I think is going to happen? Yada yada yada. I know it's going to get passed, but people are too ignorant to look at the bill. And then there's even commercials on TV right now. You have a sheriff that's saying, yes, vote yes on Bill 820, and some other people, senators and stuff. But well, it's funny, the commercials are all like, yeah, we're going to get this money and we're going to improve the schools and we're going to improve the roads, which is the exact same thing that they said for medical 3-4 years later. The roads are worse than they ever were, and schools suck, more. I don't know where all that money, the cannabis money went to, but they're screaming the same thing, trying to get it passed. And when you got those kind of politicians or, influencers of the civilian population, it's going to pass. It's just, we're really, with the regulations too, we're kicking ourselves in the ass, and they kind of don't care because they just rather be able to not have a card and go get it. But they're losing. You're going from 12 plants to 6 plants. It's just a lot of crap, and
some
whatever.
people, I think one of there are people who will benefit, and that will be the masses, the people who voted in, because the average consumer will have cheaper and bit more choices, right? And they won't have to get the card, and it'll be a lot, and that takes a big stigma off a lot of people when they remove that stigma of having to have a doctor, because that's I have to go to a doctor and say I want, only kind of stoners do that. But when it's recreational, then all of a sudden grandma wants to try it at a party, and it becomes big. In fact, if it does become recreational, dude, get a place by a big retirement place. Those are huge markets with fixed incomes, and they love to party. Think about that seriously.
I'm glad you said that. They're on a low income, fixed income, right? They can't afford high, expensive weed, right? So I think what you're saying here is what happened out there is going to happen here as well, is what I believe. Once it goes recreational, that price comes down, because now the big companies pushed out the little guys that were, their competitor. Now they can grow it on the, more massive scale and sell it cheaper, and it's not as good of quality, and grandma's not going to get that fucked up off this garbage they're making.
No, and it's another thing that ties into my business too. When money, especially at scale, okay, like an average grower, like a guy who's growing in his 8 plants or 12, whatever he's allowed to grow under these laws, right? He walks into a grocery store and he's trying to, and he's thinking, am I going to go organic? I like the idea of organic. I know organic's better. Salt-based compared to organics, let's say organics is, I don't know, 40-50% higher, whatever that number is, and it's worth it to him. It's just a small thing. But now when a big corporation comes in, and literally you can grow cannabis just fine with those salts. You can, I can't lie and say you can. I don't think it's as high quality, but consumers will do it, especially if it's cheap. And now when you have 100 acres and the difference between the fertilizer bill is 1 million or 6 million or whatever, then the bean counter says, oh no, we're going with the salts, because
So
for
you know
sure.
what politicians ought to do then is they do this with everything else, right? We're going to offer you a tax credit if your legal production grow farm goes green. No salts, right? Holy mackerel. I think that's probably the only way that you could actually keep good quality product in the main line of the industry. And well, not to say that we should do that to save organic nutrient companies, but it would help create a balance of being raped to product that's no good. I mean, it would balance it out. It seems
No,
like.
and again, I think these are multifaceted things, but like someone mentioned earlier, and I hope I hope it's going to take like more of a wine industry than a beer industry in the sense, like beer, most people are used to be. I think it's different now, like with Budweiser, Coors, PBR, or what, there were some real basic beers that most people, and then they came out with things like Heineken, and but those were kind of the rarity. So the mass is like they don't, and everyone could brew home beer if they want. They don't. It's cheaper to go buy cheap beer, and I'm sure it was made very cheaply, right?
Mhm.
Those mass marketed things. But like wine, it's kind of the same thing. But on the wine end, there's a people are willing to pay for handcrafted or organic, or you hope there'll always be more of a, I don't want to say this is wine because I don't know, more of a sophisticated or someone who's conscious of what goes in, maybe they want to be organic. But again, that's going to be a niche. I don't think that'll be the rule. I think that'll be the niche, and that's hopefully
But
what I'm going to be catering to.
But doesn't it seem like it would make sense? I mean, from our government standpoint, I mean, you offer uh, incentives and tax breaks and rebates to homeowners for putting solar panels in or using LEDs or that kind of crap, right? We have a uh, an economy that is based. It seems like it's based off of more, faster, you know, and cheaper,
Yeah.
right? And you get tax breaks if you stop using chemicals or, where I don't know how to word it.
Well, here's a problem. Bayer, which it used to be Monsanto, right?
Yeah,
Now it's a Bayer. They're a pretty big company, and it turns out we're okay with politicians being bribed by corporations to keep policies
right.
profitable for corporations. I think that's what's sad is we allow it and we're okay with it. We say we don't like it, but we vote for it every fucking election. I don't care what you say, no matter who you're voting for, that's what they're going to do. But it's a horrible system. But yeah, that's the reason. And unless a lot of little tiny farmers would have to get together and out lobby them, but then that's a losing battle, right? Because like I
Yeah.
said, they can Monsanto or Bayer can. I'm sure chemical factories where there's a couple guys on shift where they're overseeing automated equipment, mixing chemicals, bringing it up to temperature, putting it in a vacuum, whatever, and then
Adding enough bubbles or whatever. Yeah.
but it's all automated and it comes out in crystals, and that's your fertilizer. And it's real easy for them to make that, and they make a lot of money. In fact, the middlemen salt fertilizer companies make a ton of money. Those bottles that used to sell for 150 bucks, there wasn't 25 cents worth of material in those bottles. No shit.
It's mostly
No
water.
shit. Mostly, by far, mostly water.
Well, and from a home grower's
Yeah.
perspective, and I'm strictly talking about home growing, I think organics is cheaper and easier.
I think
Better quality.
it's
Maybe you get
definitely
less on yield, less quantity, but I think it's cheaper.
if you wanted to be cheapest, like that's how I started looking at labels. What are the ingredients? And then I started sourcing the ingredients. same thing with salts. It's like you're crazy to buy anything that has water, that a salt mixed in water. That's insanity because water is expensive to ship, and when you can buy that same salt, most likely for like less than $10 a pound, where that pound would make probably 50 cents a pound, to be realistic with you, and that pound would make tens of thousands of gallons of nutrients that they would sell. That was how that those guys did well. Those guys did okay. But I'm bitching a lot, but I've been on here a long time, an hour and 27 minutes. Who was it that won the thing? Martial artist, right? Martial artist. Make sure you get in touch with me. Send me an email, and if again, we'll meet up again next week. What do you think?
Sounds good.
You guys got anything else to say?
Not over here.
No, just good luck to everybody in Oklahoma. We got for our freaking election on this legalization crap.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a mixed. That's a tough one though. That's progress, as they say. That's progress, not always good.
Whose progress?
Yeah,
It's definitely
I don't know.
not.
It usually filters up. For some reason, the progress always filters. It filters up for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, but
We'll
we're at
hope
the
for
bottom
best.
catching the shit.
But I'm still in that bubble. I can still go. I can still go to the grocery store and get whatever I want at this moment. So I'm still in that bubble, and I'm warm, kind of. I got to turn up my heat a little, but yeah. Anyways, hey, nice talking. I thought we had a good conversation. I think I ate a little bit too many too early, but oh well, we got through. I got a lot of viewers. Thank you for coming in, and we'll see you again next week. Peace.
Later.
I'm going to end this thing. I'm going to end